Hello, welcome to Club IDIC. Tonight, we are going to be watching Sons and Daughters from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and we are going to be discussing developing relationships. Please enjoy this meeting. Hello.
Oh, there you are.
How are you?
Hot.
Yeah, well, you can't help that, can you? You've always been hot to me.
Okay, I totally missed that.
Oh, I'm sure you're flattered.
In that case, you're a hot one yourself.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, I've noticed no ponytail today, huh?
No, does it look different? What?
Of course it does.
Does it look nice? Yeah, sometimes I wear it down.
Yeah, because I usually recall ponytail, takeout dinner, lesson, and the occasional table read.
Yeah, I sometimes don't wear ponytail to table read either.
Well, you don't have to. You're reading.
Oh, this is a good friendship we have. And a friendship is a good relationship. We've developed a good relationship over the time we've been together. And that's what our thing is about tonight, developing relationships. And, developing a relationship develops when people interact, communicate, and make decisions that involve or impact one another. And you impacted me positively when you decided to come to the club.
Yeah, well, everybody needs their moment in the sun.
Well, you brought some sunshine into my life when you showed up, and you're still doing it, and I love that.
Aww.
So, have you seen this episode before?
Well, funny thing is that, I sometimes look at my local Heroes and Icons channel where they air Star Trek reruns 6 nights a week. And there's even some Next Generation episodes I have to recall that I don't really remember. I think yesterday they had the TNG episode where these guys who look like they hopped off of an 80s music video set were dealing with these women in robes. They had like this genetic tribal vendetta thing going.
Just trying to think. What was the episode called?
Damned if I remember.
Huh.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about this. I have to go searching through my Paramount Plus for episodes. Some that I recall, most of which I don't.
Yeah, I don't. That description gives me nothing.
No.
But it's fun. It's fun just, going and because I should even know it because according to my mom, when I was little, because I was born just a few months after Next Generation premiered on television, and according to her, my family used to sit in the couch of our rented house and we'd watch it on television, but I don't remember it.
Of course not. You were young.
And we do the same when my brother was born, because he was born in 89 and Next Generation was obviously still going because it was 7 seasons. And I don't remember this at all.
That was around season 2 that he was born. I
Yeah.
recall Next Generation coming out when I was 7.
Yeah. So obvious, I really don't remember much of when I was a child, except that which my mom told me. So obviously it happened because my mom wouldn't lie about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my relationship with Star Trek was a lot longer than I anticipated.
Well, I'm the one that saw the reruns of the original.
I think she did too. She might have. She says she did. And she was born in 52, so she may have seen the original.
I'll bet. I'll bet.
I mean, she also worked on some telethons because she was in Shriners for problems with her feet. So, and she also worked on I think she worked on a March of Dimes telethon. So she may have even met some celebrities. I don't know.
Oh, that takes me back. Telethons, need to take out 8-hour block of TV time with cheesy entertainment, trying to solicit donations for children's hospitals.
Well, she was in a hospital for club feet and stuff like that. So, of course, she was one of those who benefited from them because her family had 11 kids. So there wasn't any way that her family could afford that.
Wait, 11 kids?
One died in infancy, but there was still a lot of kids.
So what are you, 3 of 10?
No, she was one of 11. I was only one of 3.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you're talking about, I thought that was like a relic.
Yes, I have permission to say this. I used to say that my grandmother reproduced like a rabbit. My grandparents reproduced like rabbits.
I'll bet.
And the family reunions used to be very huge, but they're older and dying off now, but I still have pictures, and it's good that I recently did a certificate in family history research. I'm learning all these things about how to research these people so I can learn their stories through censuses, and I can ask my mom about the relationships because she's done a lot of work in 30 plus years of genealogy learning about these people. And she's got a lot of pictures, and she recently had her sisters visit like her town, 2 of her sisters that are still alive. And they were able to actually, hang out and really, just enjoy time being sisters because she couldn't do much. She's just on the tail end of recovering from a foot surgery that had her in a cast for 8 weeks. So they were just able to chill and be sisters and talk, and it was really nice for them.
Yeah, well, me doing a little ancestor research myself, I find, without getting into too much detail, the further back I go, the more labyrinthine the family tree looks.
Well, relationships were complicated back then because, even though there might have been tight relationships and there might not have been, records were quite often either lost or destroyed due to different circumstances. That's one of the things I learned in my family history courses.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I mean, not everybody kept journals, or there were revolutions or anything, and some were forced to flee and leave things behind. So records may have been lost or seized or burned because there were record burnings. Or people destroyed them deliberately to protect them.
So, yeah. So I'm trying to recall, when did we first screen?
September 2021.
Oh. Right, that's when we had Teresa and the rest of them.
Yeah, but a note of caution on that, even though you may find relationships in a family tree, they might not be the same if you choose to do your DNA. Things may pop up on DNA that might surprise you. surprise relationships.
Mm.
Because I did DNA because my father went around telling his family that I wasn't biologically his. So I spent over $300 on DNA tests for my brother and me.
And this is the talk show moment coming up, I reckon.
Well, no, then I found some surprise information out about my grandmother that she had tried to keep secret for many years and had only told my mother about. That was a surprise relationship.
Hmm.
And that revealed a surprising connection to England. So, you know, as much as you may try to hide relationships, you can't. And that actually relates back to Tora Zial. As much as she tried to hide the fact that Tukat was her father, she couldn't. And she eventually had to admit, this man is my father, no matter how much I try to hide it. This man is my father, and I need to own it, no matter what anybody else thinks.
Yeah, okay. So, my usual quick spiel. Where's the other dude that said they were going to be here tonight?
I don't know.
Not that I care, but
I don't know. It's up to people whether or not they come. And if they don't come, we still have a pleasant evening and not worry about people who don't show up.
yeah.
But yeah, this is about developing relationships. And I'm excited about this because this is a pleasant episode given that I just finished the certificate course with a 92.7. The final kind of messed me up a bit. I was at a 94, but I dropped because of the final. I passed. I didn't do as well as I wanted to. But it was about evidence analysis, the course, and, you know, relationships can be applied to evidence analysis because this is what we're doing. We're analyzing relationships. We're analyzing how relationships develop and how they change over time.
Mm.
Thank you for the clapping, by the way. So,
you're welcome.
Yeah. Like, you know, we look at Worf.
Oh, have you seen Picard season 3 yet?
Oh, a little bit.
So I'll keep my silence then.
I don't care. Talk as you want. Please don't keep your silence. I love your opinions. They're fun.
Remember when he meets Raffi? He says, I am Worf, son of Mog, house of Martok, son of Sergei, house of Roshenko, Bane to the Duras family, slayer of Gowron.
Yes. Those are all relationships that Worf had and held sacred to him.
Yeah, yeah. Huh.
But yet he never mentioned his son. As in all the conversations that he and Raffi had over that season, he never mentions his son.
And he's hardly ever mentioned in DS9, but for one episode where the son is basically looking at dad like, why did you disown me?
And it's like he sent Alexander away, like, and Alexander briefly came to the Enterprise and Worf was like, oh, I'm going to be a dad. You can stay with me. And then he sends Alexander to Earth to be with his foster parents.
Yeah.
And it's like, Worf, why won't you take responsibility for what you helped create? Like, why won't you be a parent instead of just saying, oh, you're not good enough to be a parent? How do you know what you're good enough and not good enough to do unless you try to be it?
Mm. Well, I know I cannot be a daddy to a fur baby.
Well, I don't believe you because you're capable of being whatever you want to be. And you're very gentle.
Well, that's the fact that my landlord say no pets.
Well, that doesn't mean you're not capable if you ever get in the right situation. You've got a lot of love inside of you, and if you're allowed to apply it in a good environment, you could be a very good daddy or whatever else you want to be.
Okay.
And if that embarrasses you, so what? Take a pill and calm yourself, because I'm not taking the opinion back.
Do I look flustered?
If you do, I don't care. Anyway, like, he abandoned Alexander, and he didn't think that Alexander wanted to be a warrior, because when they last met, Alexander was like, I don't want to be a warrior. And Worf was so embarrassed by this that he's like, how can I have a son that does not want to be a warrior? I thought all Klingons wanted to be warriors.
Family values.
He could never comprehend that Alexander might want something different for himself than what the Klingon expectation was. But to his surprise, Alexander presented himself as being one who was in the Klingon Defense Force. But I don't know if Alexander actually wanted that for himself, to be honest, or if he was just trying to join up with his father and meet his father's expectations and hope that he could have a relationship with him. I really don't.
Well, that'll be another episode of research, because I know of the episode, I just forget the title.
Interesting. But that's very interesting, knowing, like, the amount of surprise on Worf's face. Did Worf actually keep in touch with his son or his parents about his son after he left him on Earth? Probably not. And when Dukat, I'm sure Dukat kept tabs on Ziyao because he was so worried about.
Actually, I think I kind of saw a bit of the episode where Kira and Dukat had to take a runabout to this desert planet. I didn't watch the whole episode, but I think it's where they found Ziyal in a prison camp or something.
Yes, and Dukat didn't want to kill her. He instead hugged her and then ended up losing everything because he didn't kill her. And I believe it was Garrick that said sentiment is the greatest weakness of all when it came to Cardassians.
Well, you're talking to ex-Obsidian Order.
You wouldn't make a very good Obsidian Order. You're too nice.
Really?
Yes. I look at you and I smile and I don't see a hint of seriousness in you. You're too nice, Anthony. Obsidian Order have to be heartless and you're not capable of it.
Well, I do recall reading a Star Trek book. Funny thing about Cardassians, they could weep at the death of their pet vole one moment, then slash somebody's throat the next.
Well, they don't weep in public because it's considered a weakness. They're not allowed to show weakness in public because I think that's a crime. They have to do things a certain way in public, and then they can be a certain way in private.
Well, I suppose I should give that book a read, A Stitch in Time, written by Andrew Robinson.
Or you could just listen to it when it comes out. I think it's coming out.
I think it already is out in audiobook format.
Yeah, it might be cheaper than the actual book. I think the actual book's close to $300.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Oh, what awesome book is on Anthony's shelf of mystery? Oh, don't tell me you have it.
No, I was just looking for a holy text.
A holy text?
Yes.
What, the Bible? Well, that is awesome. I don't even have that, I don't think.
The Ferengi Rules of Acquisition.
I have a whole shelf of Star Trek books. I just have to look and see if I have that.
Well, it's the religion of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember I was at this event the other evening. I posted this on my Facebook, looking at this gold-topped building, asking where I was. Somebody wrote the Divine Treasury. And talking about forming relationships.
Well, I don't know how one can have a relationship with money except to spend it and get rid of it and manipulate it and use it to get their own will.
Yeah, but then again, I suppose talking about relationships and this book in the same sentence, I remember, Nog trying to get into Starfleet, the relationship that he has with his dad, Rom.
Oh, yes.
Helping over the seasons.
Now, are you talking about when Rom finds out that Quark rigged the test and then Rom goes and threatens Quark?
I don't really remember the whole timeline. But yeah, in keeping with tonight's topic, right? I know relationship is sketchy. No, because remember Nog said to Captain Sisko, like, why do you want to be in Starfleet so badly? There's no profit. And then he says, I don't want to be like my father. But, later on, Rom does get some guts to stand up to Quark. Man, shut up, you.
The noise of New York.
Thank you.
No, but yeah, that's true. Like, it takes a while, but I think the first sign of Rom sending him up to Quark is the Union episode.
Yeah.
And that's
I want to watch.
That's a one-sided episode. Or that's a one-sided relationship, is where one person in the relationship doesn't seem to listen or care, and that's not a healthy relationship. And you said you wanted to watch that? I don't remember which one that is. So if you wanted to message me that, we could make it happen.
Okay, I have to look.
That's fine. We can still make it happen.
Hey, because we got like 606. Oh my God, going biblical again. Don't we have 666 hours of Star Trek to look through?
That's fine. We can still make it happen if you want. I was going to use this episode for Father's Day, actually, but my recovery from surgery was a lot longer than I anticipated.
Yeah, I didn't want to go there, but since you brought it up,
no, it's okay. It's okay. I was just very tired a lot, and it was just a lot longer than I anticipated it would be. But I'm fine. I went walking around a car show on July 1st and overdid it, and that just really set me back a bunch. I like car shows.
Oh. Well, you should have seen what they had in the Javits Center the other year. The theme was environmental sustainability.
I like going around to cool events and taking photos of everything.
Well, my associates and my friends and I were dressed up as the Men in Black and walking around Javits Center. Yeah, guys with black business suits and sunglasses.
Oh, did you have a little stick of something that resembled the memory eraser thing?
One of my friends actually brought a few of them. Oh, of course, he got stopped by security for 15 minutes trying to explain himself.
Oh, dear. Yeah, New York is kind of very nervous about those type of things still, and they always will be. So maybe don't do that again.
Yeah, which is why you don't see me with my phaser props that often these days.
Yeah, don't do that, especially in New York. They might freak out a lot. You might end up in jail.
And I'm not even talking about the phasers that have a pistol grip.
Oh gosh, don't do that
No way
either.
in Hades I'm gonna walk around with a Captain Kirk phaser. Then I'd be developing a relationship behind bars with a 7'2", 300-pound guy named Tiny.
Yeah, people's openness and people's openness with each other in the world sort of changed after certain points, and for very understandable reasons. Even COVID sort of changed people's relationship with each other and with the world, and we're still seeing that today. Like, just we got to be more careful with how we handle things and handle each other.
Yes, and me having to pull out my plague outfit.
Yeah.
No, you haven't seen that, I know.
I
Me
haven't
trying to
seen
draw
that. Now I'm
myself as
intrigued.
wearing a plague outfit. You know, with the fake beak and everything.
Now I'm intrigued. But it's your thing. So, yeah, relationships really have changed, and Star Trek has really helped people to come together and develop relationships over a commonly loved thing.
Well, you're gonna hate me for this, but my relationship with Paramount got me into a special seating area. This was this past Monday. We were at Bryant Park watching some movie screening of Star Trek 3, Search for Spock.
Oh, wow. You know what? I don't hate you because you're in a bigger city, and bigger cities carry more opportunities.
And what is wrong with Alberta?
Well, we don't have a lot of opportunities, at least not where I'm at. Hopefully someday I'll be in a bigger city.
It may happen. It may.
Well, I'd like it to. I'd like to be able to relocate someday.
Just not this year.
Not this year.
Or the next one.
We'll see.
Fair enough.
But I'm a dual citizen, so who knows where I can go.
Right, you wanted to go to Mission Seattle, but that wasn't in the cards.
I know. Maybe next year I can do something about a convention. But the way my body is, I have to take conventions a little more slowly these days and maybe get a scooter.
That I haven't forgotten. Your mobility issues.
Well, I can walk. I can maybe just walk up to 2 kilometers a day, and that's it.
So you had a former relationship with your scooter.
Well, it's
not a fun relationship.
Like in 2017, when I first got diagnosed, it took a long time to get to where I'm at, but I've trimmed down quite a bit and the pain is less. I can walk really well now.
Well enough to go to a car show.
Well, yeah, I was able to walk around a park, but the heat really got to me as well. I was in the heat. But indoors, I might do a lot better as long as I take my time. Like, my relationship with my body has changed, and the surgery was not to cure this. It was just to make it easier to deal with because it grows. But it's not cancer, that much I know. And I'm grateful for that, but it still exists. Why are you mouthing?
Why am I mouthing words instead of saying them?
Yeah, that's rude.
I said, I know what you're going through. I haven't experienced it myself personally because I'm a man, but
I still do my best to be able to get around, and I'm working right now. I work a job right now. I have a part-time job that pays money. So hopefully soon, because I haven't traveled like the way I want to since 2019. So I want to be able to go to something like that again.
We'll see.
And to be able to just go to a convention, like, I haven't worked one since 2017. It would be great to do it again.
What do you call it when your church makes you go out somewhere, a mission?
I wouldn't mind that either. I mean, I've thought about it, but that costs money. That costs a lot of money. But the relationships you develop when you do things like that, whether it be mission or volunteering, those are very valuable. Yeah, so 6:30, it doesn't look like anybody else is coming.
All right, showtime.
Would you like that? Because I don't want to keep you up too late, because I know it's already, what, 8:30 for you?
Yes.
And I don't know what you've got tomorrow, maybe a photography job or something?
Well, it's hot. It's about as, we're basically, how to put this, Heather. We're about to reach the record temperature set forth 100 years ago by hell.
Okay, well, we're not going to keep you uncomfortable. We'll go watch, and then you have a chance to get some water and fan yourself and cool down. Would that be okay?
Well, I formed a relationship with my air conditioner.
Okay, and then when we get back, we're going to discuss more, and then we'll discuss that question I posted in the group.
And I completely forgot about.
Oh,
but we'll figure it out later.
But see you in an hour. Get some water or whatever.
Okay.
See you in an hour.
Oh, wait, let me mute this thing.
So how did we like looking into different relationships? We have Worf, who tries to do his best to do the right thing, even though he might not always know what the right thing is. He thinks he knows what's best, and he tries to do what's best, even though he kind of really doesn't, but he tries to, his intent is loving and caring.
But at the same time, like somebody pointed out, then why are you running away from your responsibility?
Well,
and you call yourself a proud, brave warrior. Well,
Worf has never been good about expressing emotions because he doesn't think it's very Klingon. He's not even good at expressing emotion to his adoptive parents, even though he's probably been taught it's okay to express your emotions and express your feelings. It's okay. He's got too much of that Klingon in him. And then we have Dukat, who's a way
the quadrant's biggest sleaze bag.
Yes, and Dukat's way of being in a relationship is manipulating people to do exactly what he wants, regardless of what anybody else wants. And it's either his way or get killed.
Yeah, I still remember that I could just think of Kira's thoughts. I got you this slinky dress for the party. And she made it tell him, shove it, you know where.
Yeah, well, he wanted to sleep with Kira as much. Well, she knew it too. And like, I remember, I believe it was in the Deep Space Nine documentary. I did watch it. Nana Visitor said she didn't want Nerys to be in a relationship with Dukat, but she did regret not letting the character be in a relationship with a Cardassian or have an affair with a Cardassian, just not Dukat. She hated Dukat.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dukat was very manipulative, and he wanted his way or no way at all.
Yeah, using his daughter just to, I don't know, look at Kira naked, because we all know he's just, like I just said, he's the biggest scumbag in the quadrant.
Well, he just wanted people to do things his way. He didn't care what anybody else wanted. He just wanted things a specific way, but that's all Cardassians in nature until the Cardassians were finding themselves the prey of the universe, basically. Cardassians want things a specific way. They're trained to believe things a specific way and want things a specific way. That's their nature.
Yeah.
like their beliefs about relationships. I don't know if we've seen this yet, but I believe there was an episode that I believe it was Gilora Rajal thought O'Brien's crankiness with her was flirting. That's their belief about relationships, that if people are getting irritated with them and wanting to fight with them, that's part of flirting.
Yeah, and you do notice after this episode, Alexander is never mentioned again.
Yeah.
Well, granted, I haven't read any of the.
Well, wait, isn't he mentioned in the wedding episode?
I doubt it.
Well, no, the wedding episode's before, but I mean, I hope he survived. I hope he survived the war, because that's a relationship that should have been further explored.
Yeah. So I can see why I see his anger that his father just dumped him on these two old Earth people instead of having him live with Daddy.
Yeah, but it's really sad because Worf he couldn't let go of his Klingonness enough to explore the relationship with his son. And Klingon is a culture very much about family, because they have to have someone to pass the Klingon traditions to. Even Martok was very much about family, because he was trying to lecture Worf to connect with his son so he'd have someone to pass the Klingon traditions to.
Yeah, I know. Got the kid embarrassed to be Alexander. It's like, I guess for the Klingons, Alexander is a wuss name. You saw how they're picking on him. Like they think he's hiding behind Daddy.
Well,
they make fun of him.
Yeah.
So you don't want to eat. How about we get you some root beer and some ice cream? But yeah. And another thing is like compensating. I know I'm not a parent, but
you'd make a good parent.
Tell that to people.
Well, we can't control what others think of us, but we can control how we respond. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay. So we talked about the daughters. We talked about the sons. And I don't know how that's going to sound. Alexander, son of Worf.
Yeah, why wasn't Alexander mentioned in Picard? Because, like, Raffi was a parent too, because Worf and Raffi could have had some moments of bonding over being estranged from their children and having that difficulty while trying to help each other. They could have said, we have these common problems of being estranged from our children as we struggle through this. They could have talked about their kids.
Yeah.
And yet Worf treated Raffi more like his kid than he ever treated Alexander.
Yeah. Yeah. Know what I say, Heather? Any idiot can make a baby, but it takes a man to be a father.
That's true. It does. It really does.
So Worf is not a man.
That's true. Not even by Klingon standard, because General Martok even gave him crap about not stepping up and being a father. Because what did he say in the episode? He literally said it's not good when the father and son are having issues.
Yeah, I think that was this episode, in between the Rasta music coming out of my window. I think I heard that.
Yes. And I mean, there's no doubt that Worf loves Alexander, but he just didn't have, he valued his own reputation over being the father that he should have been.
Yes.
And he valued his own personal growth over, like, actually, maybe he didn't even value his own personal growth, because he could have grown a lot more had he been willing to take on Alexander. Maybe the pain of Kalar was, and losing Kalar.
Well, like, look at it, every time you look at his son, he thinks of Kalar or something like that.
And when Kalar came back to him with Alexander, and she tried to discuss Alexander with him, he was babbling about Klingon dishonor, and he couldn't even take the time to look past the dishonor and say, hey, I've got a son. We need to talk about this. And it wasn't until Kalar died that he realized, oh, I've got a son. How do I deal with this? And then he didn't even deal with it properly. He didn't take responsibility.
Sound familiar?
What? Oh, yes, he's kind of like Ducat in that way. He kind of ships the baby away because Ducat pretty much didn't take responsibility for his daughter either. He just shipped the baby away.
I meant something a little closer to home, but okay.
I'm not sure what you meant.
Yes, I remember you explaining your family relationships to me.
Well, actually, that's not similar. He kind of stayed around and they got married 6 months after I was born. I was at their wedding. He was physically present, but not present in any other way. He drank a lot and didn't work until I was about 8 years old. And my mom had to work 2 jobs. And then she lost her job because her boss thought she'd be better off being a mother.
Mm.
So we struggled quite a bit, my mom and my brother and I and my dad, but we survived. I mean, he was physically present, but it was I had a very difficult childhood. But my mom had enough friends, a very good friend, in fact, who had a husband who served as a very good surrogate father in those years for me and my brother. And, it was hard enough growing up in that time as a person with a disability because it meant like getting a lot of mental health help from people who didn't quite understand and having to go to a ton of different schools and things like that. And it was hard for me to develop relationships because it wasn't a world that I really understood properly. I still don't quite understand it properly, but I've grown to accept that I'm not going to. So I have a better relationship with myself now. I haven't changed, and I'm not going to change in terms of having the disability, but the way I have seen myself, the way I see myself now and accept myself now, I've actually come to accept myself better now. Even if people don't necessarily accept me.
Well, that's pretty much what you can do, really. Be comfortable, be comfortable in your own company.
And there's some people who may never accept me. Some of my family may never accept me, and that's their issue right there. But I can't force them to accept something that they don't want to understand. And it's the same, it's sort of a parallel with Ziao and Nerys. Like, Ziao cannot force Nerys to accept her father. Nerys has experiences that make her not like Ducat because of Ducat having her mother as a comfort woman.
Yeah.
And because of what Ducat and the other Cardassians did to Bajorans, that makes Nerys completely turned off to Ducat. And no matter how much Ziao tries to make Nerys and Ducat have a friendship, even a friendship, that's never going to happen.
Yep.
Because of the experiences. And I don't know why. Some people don't like me personally, if it's my disability or their own experiences with disabled people. But I cannot force people to like or understand what they don't want to.
Well, I judge people on a case-by-case basis myself.
Yeah.
And while I do find a little bit of fault, you being a Mormon and all.
Well, a lot of people do.
So, who put this?
I'm sorry for bad experiences you've had with Mormons in the past, by the way. I'm not as bad.
Well, then again, you're not a Jehovah's Witness, I'll say that.
No, I'm not. I actually helped somebody make a film about escaping that religion.
What, from the Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yes.
Cliff Notes version, please.
It's online. I was they were talking about how they left the religion, and I was a voice in their film.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'll show you the link after, but I did assist in that, and I'm sorry for whatever negative experiences you may have had that led you to develop the opinion that you don't like specific religions.
Well, basically, that was just my ex trying to ram that down my throat.
And they shouldn't do that. They shouldn't be trying to use anything to try and force you to have a relationship with anyone or anything that you're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
Because everybody has a choice to decide who or what they want to have a relationship with.
Yeah. And I don't know, like a forced relationship is not kind of like how Worf was trying to thinking that Alexander's just gonna like him after he leave the young man with these old folks for 15 years.
Well, and also trying and even just still expecting, I remember in the TNG episodes, Worf was trying to force Alexander to practice with the bat'leth and everything, and Alexander was like, what if I don't want to be a warrior? And Worf was thinking, oh, well, there's really no other path for you. And even in here, Worf was like, why are you pretending to be a warrior?
I don't know. What you just said has me kind of thinking that Worf think, oh, why are you not being warriors? It's kind of like some parent complain that their son is gay.
You know, I think that parents, those who are lucky enough to be given the ability to become parents, should love their children as they are. Because not everybody is fortunate enough to become parents. Not everybody has the ability to bear children, and people who have that ability should be loving their children as they are. It makes me so angry. What?
Are you okay, Heather?
It makes me so angry that these parents who bear these children treat them so badly just because these children don't meet expectations. You should love your children as they are. Yes, I'm crying, so what? Because, I mean, children are gifts. Anybody who has a child should see them as a gift and treat them as a gift every single day. And I just get so mad that some parents don't see their children as gifts and opportunities to grow and learn and become better people. No, I'm not okay. I cry because people just the way of the world. Some people who have children treat them terribly and disown them and fail to love them and choose to hate them because they don't meet expectations. But, you know, children are worthy of love no matter what they become. And this is how society should be. Sorry, I just got really mad because, you know, people fail to cultivate and invest in relationships just because those relationships may not meet up to their expectations. But why can't people just take relationships and enjoy them for what they are instead of what they aren't? Like, some relationships may not meet expectations, but they still exist and they're still worthy of investing in. Sorry, I'm rambling. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Maybe my perspective has changed ever since I had that diagnosis. I don't know. I used to be so uptight and so set in my ways, but things change when you realize certain things are not going to happen. You have to look at the world and look at yourself and say, hey, are these thoughts of yours really important? Are they really yours? Or are you just trying to live up to somebody else's expectations?
Have you come to a verdict?
Well, I think I used to be living up to somebody else's expectations, but I think those days are done.
Well, I'd given that up years ago. If you get along, fine. You don't, you don't. I don't care. I just keep it moving.
Well, it's free. It just feels freeing to know that I just can't live up to expectations, and knowing that I can't means that I don't have to. And that means I can have my own thoughts and feelings about things, and that I can love people as they are, and that I can love people at my own pace, and that I should encourage everybody to love each other as they are and at their own pace, and not worry about expectations. It's very freeing. And I just wish people would love one another as they are. And, you know, even in Star Trek, people struggle to love each other as they are. Like we see it in this episode. Worf struggles to love his son because his son did not meet expectations of a Klingon. And Dukat struggles to love his daughter because she didn't meet the expectations he tried to force her into, and Nerys could not love.
Well, so how do you feel knowing that Dukat, how do I say this? How do you feel that Dukat bumps her off in a later episode?
I thought that was Damar that killed her.
Yeah, I think he killed Dax.
No, the Parith did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's him and his little buddy, the Parith that lived downstairs.
Yeah, well, that's what's kind of wrong with Cardassians. Anybody that can't live up to the Cardassian expectation, they strive to get rid of as quickly as they can so they don't have to think about them.
Well, then again, keep in mind the group that the Cardassians are based off of. I won't mention the name because I know we're being recorded.
I get it. But it's quite sad. I mean, Garrick's the exception because Garrick doesn't care about expectations. He just cares about being himself. Garrick is the exception to the rule, and he always will be.
I wish I had his autograph when I had the chance.
Oh, he's still around.
And it totally blows that there's no Star Trek convention in New York City. Oh, I know they did one in Long Island last month, but I don't have a car, so I can't really leave the city.
Isn't there a ferry or something?
I know you're not too familiar with my hunk of geography, but suffice to say, areas outside of New York City, you need your own transportation because the mass transit system out on Long Island sucks.
And there's no big bus.
Having to take a commuter train and a cab to get out there, and then trying to find my way back here.
Oh. Well, you could always rent one if you wanted to go badly enough.
I can't drive, Heather.
Oh, I thought you could.
What gave you that idea?
I thought you could. I'm sorry. I didn't know you didn't have a license.
One of the perks of living in New York City.
Oh, well, maybe I'll just come drive you because I do have one. I do.
So what are you gonna do? Pull up to my place, say, get in the trunk, we're going to Seattle?
I don't think you'd fit in a trunk. You'd have to sit in the back. But yeah, I mean, relationships are valuable and I wish people valued them more. But despite COVID, despite all the things that have gone in the world, people don't value them as much as they should. They're too busy with just things that don't matter.
Oh, that's people.
And even in Star Trek, despite the war going on, people are just so focused on their differences that they don't take the time to. I mean, this lesson really highlights the importance of relationships because time just flies so quickly and things happen that you never know when people are going to disappear. So you should value the relationships you have while you have them.
Yeah.
And it's very sad that we don't.
Oh yeah, if you're crying again, I have to go into my kitchen and get a tissue paper. Don't have one near me this time.
No, but is there anything else you wanted to add, or are you getting tired?
Well, I'm still a little vexated for my inconsiderate neighbor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What for? Question, did they blast music outside your house at absurd hours?
No, because we have quiet rules and we're a quiet street.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, you have a good enough relationship with your neighbors not to annoy them like that.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, me trying to keep redirecting my conversations to the topic at hand. And like you said earlier, it's interesting the relationship I even have with you, of all people, for like last year and a half, I guess.
Well, I hope it's a good one.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm grateful that you're here, actually. I'm very grateful. I just wish society and the Star Trek fandom as a whole were more like us, being willing to love one another as we are and just overlook differences and just settle in and enjoy Star Trek and learn how to learn and grow together and just be willing to chat and find joy in who we are and celebrate the diversity that we find in each other and in Star Trek. Because there's a lot of joy that we can find in each other and in Trek if we're willing to look for it.
Okay, so before we disembark, so how will you describe tonight's session in your YouTube blurb?
I think it was very peaceful. I think that relationships should be valued. I think that we did talk about everything that we needed to talk to. Relationships should be valued no matter what is going on in the world, what is going on in your life. And even if people don't value you, you can still value others. You can still value yourself. And even if people attack you personally, you can still respond with kindness and grace and love one another, even if people don't love you.
Or you can always respond with a slap in the face.
Well, violence, as someone who survived different kinds of violence, I can tell you that is not the way to solve problems. That only creates more problems, and that only creates a lot of hostility and a lot of harsh feelings that are very hard to recover from. And just we should learn to love one another as we are and learn to take the time to teach one another about differences and acceptance and unconditional love, because violence really never solves anything, and it should never have a place in our lives, in our homes, in our culture. We should be all about love and education and understanding and not resort to violence just because we don't understand each other. Like, what has violence ever done for you?
Not tonight, Heather. Not tonight.
Okay. But, you know, relationships are important. Not just the relationships we have with other people, but the relationship we also have with ourselves. Because if we can't love ourselves, if we don't have a good relationship with ourselves, if we don't understand the practice of self-love, how are we going to understand how to love one another as they are?
That's the $1,000 question for tonight.
And it's a good question to end with, so I'm going to let you go. Have a good evening.
I hope you feel better.
Oh, I'm feeling good. It was just, you know, got emotional for a minute. I'm sorry if the crying discomforted you. Have a good night.
Night. Can't even do the thing. Oh, well.
Thank you for coming.
All right.
Thank you all for tonight's meeting. Live long and prosper.